So hello and a warm welcome to our show, Love Athletics. In this program, we bring you the latest highlights from our sport. And our program today is split, as we said, in two parts. And we're delighted to have our guest, Ghanaian journalist Fentuo Tahiru, on both. So part one had focused exclusively on the African Championships in Accra. And now in part two, we will review the inaugural meet of the 2026 Diamond League Series in Shanghai, Kochao, and other highlights from our sport over the last fortnight. So let's move to the other big one of the last 2 weeks. First Diamond League meeting in Shanghai, Kochao on 16 May. So Fentuo, what a start for the Diamond League circuit. A total of 7 world leads were set, and most of them of very high quality.
Yes, and it was unbelievable. It was almost as if the athletes had been ready and a peak performance, because some of the performances we saw at this stage of the season are unreal, and I'm sure we will get into some of them, especially what we saw, for example, in the women's 3,000 meters steeplechase. That is unreal. Even on field events from Matthias Fellaini and the women's shot put. It was I don't know. It was I couldn't believe it. Like, this is so early in the season, but the performances were unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's break this down again. And Fentuo, what male athletes impressed you the most in Shanghai, Kochao?
Yes, briefly on Mohamed Abdullahi of Germany. I remember seeing him the first time, I believe, was in Tokyo. And I was wondering, what is this kid doing in Germany colors and running this event? I think at that time he finished 31st, I believe, overall. And it didn't look particularly impressive. Then I saw him again in Eugene in 2022, and the performance was even worse than what I saw of him in Tokyo. But look at this, 5 years down the line, or 4 years down the line, he is absolutely destroying it. And I was really happy to see him win and that 3,000 meter race. And you could just tell that he had something extra in him, that kick towards the end, new German national record, meeting record. It was really unbelievable. And I'm happy that he could pull that off, especially against his training partner, the Swedish Andreas. I always struggle with his last name, Almgren.
Yeah.
Almgren, who also ran a national record, I believe, in that particular race. So it was all run one of those races that were too good to be true, to a really top level, especially at this point in the season. So I was very impressed with Abdullahi for sure.
Absolutely, and the whole field was absolutely fantastic. Historic race, huge depth, 14 athletes dipped under 7 minutes 30, yes, including 6 Kenyans, but also athletes from Sweden, Almgren, Mexico, 2 Ethiopians, 1 Australian, 1 Bahraini, and 1 athlete from Uruguay. And those 2 set area records. So Birhanu Balev with 7:29.60, that was an Asia record for Bahrain, and Santiago Catrofe 7:29.72 was a South American record, and they're high quality marks. So that was really, really good to see.
Indeed.
And Fentuo, your next men's highlight.
Yes, an Irishman and track and field. It's not a sentence you usually put together, is it? But Mark English is Irish. That is kind of tricky, isn't it? English is Irish. Sorry, Anna. I just had to make that joke. It's a good one.
Me too.
So, but yeah, again, a really impressive performance from him in the 800 meters. And we know that the 800 meters, especially the last, I don't know, maybe the last few years, it's become a really big highlight event, especially after what Mark Rudisha did in 2012. It's become an event that a lot of people have paid attention to. And even the last few years, it's become a very high quality field. So to have a man that had never won any Diamond League event go there and not just win, but set a meeting record, it's unbelievable. The first Irishman to do that. And I was, it was. I always love. I think by now you can tell that I love historic movement. I love first because when it's not easy to always dare to do what no one else in front of you has ever done before. It's much easier when if a Kenyan breaks, Kenyan runs in 800 meters in such a record. I'm thinking, okay, you've got Rudisha in there, so I mean, it's not so special. He probably gave you a skill or two, but for Mark English to come and do that, I have to say, it really for me was a really good stand-up performance.
And your third moment?
Yes. So for my third moment, man, would be your countryman, Matteo Fellaini. This kid just continues to shock me. He's only 21 years of age, and he's already an Olympic medalist, world champion, Diamond League. I mean, I don't know, man. I really don't have words to say because I feel like he is the one kid that has got it in him to go all the way. There's really no stopping him. When you look at him and you look at he's so nonchalant about it, and he's got so much quality. Every time he jumps, I'm just like, it's like he was tailor-made to be jumping. He's got such a huge leap about him. He's got very long legs, and that was again another really special performance from him. For me, I think it's the consistency. One thing that they always say about young athletes, it's hard to find consistency with young athletes because the motivation is always really difficult to maintain for a longer period because they're just getting out of their teenage years. There's still a lot of few things about them. So concentrating and performing at the highest level is always tricky. But I think Fellaini has shown in the last 3 years that he's really a kid that belongs at the very top.
Yeah, he's definitely extremely consistent because he's always medaled at the major championships in the last 3 years. So that's impressive. And what I liked is that he was finally able to soar over 8 meters 40, because for 2 years he'd been stuck at 8:38, 8:39, which is good, but that he actually breaks this also mental barrier of going over 8 meters 40. That was good. So thank you for choosing him. Mattia Forlani, really, and a great guy. Good athlete, consistent, and a really, really genuinely nice guy.
Yeah, I had to.
So on my side, I had some different top moments. First, once again, pole vault world record holder Mondo Duplantis. Now, we tend to take him for granted. Mondo, of course, he's won again, so what? But still, best technical performance of the meet, dominating the field with 6 meters 12. The next best was Australia's Curtis Marshall, who cleared 5 meters 80. So pretty big gap there. And talking about Mondo, let's take a brief break away from the sports side. Less than 2 weeks earlier, the serial world record breaker had attended the Met Gala in New York. And he admitted after the competition that it was not the best preparation for the meet. Now, Fentuo, Mondo Duplantis is a star who transcends our sport. How good is that for athletics?
I think that's what we've been looking for ever since Usain Bolt retired. It almost seems like, see, The track and field is missing this kind of superstar that isn't just only known to track and field nerds like ourselves or journalists, but known to the whole world. And I think Mundo is one of those. He's a very charismatic figure. He's funny, he speaks well, he's good looking, he's confident. And these are the things, these are all elements of a proper superstar. And so he's got a charming personality about him. And it helps the sport a lot that he's able to do that. And you can see that even he is able to do different challenges that are not necessarily even on track and field. He's able to do different things. Like we saw the 100-meter challenge that they had with the Norwegian
Yeah, with
400-meter hurdler
Karsten.
Karsten Warholm,
Yeah.
and that had the whole world watching as well. So and that is those things are very unique ways of introducing the sport of track and field to people outside of it. And I think him and someone like Noble Lyles have showing that they belong at the very top to be dealing with A-list actors and musicians. You can see that they are stars that are stars beyond track and field, and I think the sport needs that to draw in newer eyes into the sport of track and field. And the sport desperately needs stars outside of just the sport. And I think Mundo, Noah Lyles, to some extent, if it's someone like Sydney, Sha'Carri, they are very well known. Superstars that definitely are good ambassadors of the sport.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Fentuo. So back to the competition in Cachao. Now, Mondo was quickly left alone in his event, but that was absolutely not the case in the 300 hurdles, where Brazil's 2022 world champion Alison dos Santos led from the start to defeat Norway's Karsten Warholm, triple world champion, world record holder on both the 400 hurdles and the 300 hurdles. And it was a very tight race, 33:01 to 33:05. So congratulations to both. Now, Fentuo, what do you think of the 300 hurdles?
I don't know, Anna. Oh, I love that I love the fact that we always try to experiment with different events in track and field to see where we can create excitement. But I feel like the distances between 300 and 400 might just be a little bit too close. I'm thinking, what's the difference? If I probably I think it probably would have made more sense to do something like a 200-meter hurdles, right? A half distance of the 400 and a double distance of the 100 like we have in the flats. So that would have made a lot more sense to me. I just don't. There's a reason, for example, 300 meters as well. It's just like a regular flat distance isn't a thing. I mean, it's a thing, but it's not a thing that sells or that is a big deal as we're making the 300 hurdles to be. And the next meeting in Charmaine, I'm glad that's not going to be contested. We're going back to 400.
Yeah. It's interesting you mentioned the 200 hurdles because in the past, that was an event which was contested mainly at the beginning of the season, as a kind of prep. But this 300, it seems to me a little bit too tailor-made for one athlete, for Warholm, who pushed world athletics to recognize it as a world distance. And my biggest beef is that the governing body doesn't even have a list for the women's event, which kind of proves the point that it's made for Karsten. And I love Karsten. He's a wonderful athlete. I think he's fun. I think he's great for the sport, but I'm not too sure about the 300 hurdles.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. So my third highlight from Cachao is another performance over 70 meters by Slovenian discus thrower Christian Tse. He's the 2022 world champion. And what is great about Tse is that he's practically the only athlete to regularly throw over 70 meters or even 72 meters outside the very special conditions in Ramona. His personal best is 72 meters 61, set this year in Oklahoma, and it's only 25 and 27 centimeters longer than his two next best marks. Now, if you compare that to world record holder Mikolas Alekna, Alekna has 3 marks over 74 meters, all set in Ramona, while his non-Ramona best is 72 meters 12. And Paris bronze medalist Matthew Denny has 5 marks. His 5 best marks, 3 of them over 74, were all from the Oklahoma Throws series, and his non-Ramona best is 70 meters 52. So huge congratulations for Christian Tse for producing exceptional results in all weather conditions. So really appreciate. So time to speak about the women. Fentuo, who were the ladies who impressed you the most in Shanghai Keqiao?
Well, we're going with an obvious one, aren't we? Jessica Schilder of the Netherlands. Another Diamond League record performance from her. And, you know, the biggest performance, I believe, since 2012. So, and she has shown enormous consistency as well in the shot put, 6.12 meters, 21.09 meters. I think, you know, if you look at her performances the last few years, she has dominated the sport, I have to say. And, you know, I was in awe, really, just watching, you know, her do exactly what she did. And for me, I feel like some of the field events, especially the women's shot put in recent years, Anna, we have to agree that it's kind of been dominated by the men, the shot put, because of, you know, Joe Kovacs and Ryan Krauser. They basically have made all the headlines every time you've mentioned shot put. But I think Jessica's performance is bringing a lot of eyeballs back into the sport, because we haven't seen a lot of improvement since that 2012 performance, and no athletes have really shown any sort of, you know, because every now and then you want an athlete to step up and show, put up a big performance that makes the world take notice. This is one of those performances that will make the world take notice of that particular event yet again. And I think from now on, there will be a lot more eyeballs on her. Already, I know she's had a really consistent run, but I mean, that was big because she made the biggest headlines from that Shanghai Diamond League meeting. And I think it comes with renewed interest and a lot more pressure for her to keep going. And I think the eyeballs on that event will be much bigger now going forward. So that's why that, for me, was a standout performance. It's what it means for the event going forward as well.
Yes, exactly. Because as you said, you know, it's the longest throw since 2012, actually. And she's the 21st athlete to join the 21 meters club. Now, we know that in the 80s and 90s, there were a bunch of fishy results in the throws. So that Jessica was able to do it. She's, as you said, been extremely consistent. She also hugely improved in the last 2 years. It actually started with her home European indoors in Apeldoorn, and then she just got better and better until she won the outdoor world title last year. And now with this superb throw, really enters a new dimension. And your other highlights?
Yes. I have to. This is not an individual one because I think it would be unfair to choose just one person from that 3,000 meter steeplechase. Perit Chermitai and Fate Heritage. Anna, what a performance. We know that a lot of the time, long distance events aren't always decided by such close margins, but I think it's kind of changing from the World Championships, right? In Tokyo, we saw a lot more long distance events, even 10,000 meter events, even the marathon, I believe, was
Yes.
separated by thousands of a second. So that's just
Uh,
really interesting new development, isn't it? Like all these middle distance, long distance events being decided so closely at the finish line, and this was such a battle. But it wasn't exactly surprising because there's fate heritage involved. Because ever since this young kid came into the 3,000 meter, it's always one battle after the other. If it's not with Yavi, it's with
yeah.
Chemutai, and she's always the constant figure in all of those headlines. And she didn't win on this occasion. And big credit to Chemutai. Three athletes under 9 minutes in this event, and the magical 9 minutes, and that was really impressive. I love Faith Heritage. Baby face. Baby face is what they call her. Is what they nicknamed her. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
remember doing an article about her, and she, you can just see a lot of similarity between her and Faith Kipiegan, and how even Kipiegan is inspiring her. She's just taking her under her wing, and it's oh my god, it's good to see, and I love her consistency as well because Yavi got the gold medal at the Olympics, and she got the gold medal at the World Championship. So you consider, I get you, you get me, I get you, you get me. And this, I think Parrot has thrown herself in there once again and to say that, you know what, this is not just a two-way battle. I'm here too. And guess what, Anna? The three of them are going up against each other in Xiamen this weekend.
Yeah, that's going to be amazing. That really is going to be great. And yeah,
Can't
I
wait.
mean, 100th of a second separating the top two in the 3,000 hurdles. That's pretty amazing. And really very, very fast time. Uh, both ladies were faster than number 5 in the all-time list, but they have both run faster. So really impressive race. Now, I would like to add one more performance among the women, and that's the 100 hurdles. US Olympic champion Masai Russell, clear win in 12.25 over a really strong field with Bahamas World Indoors champion Devin Charlton, Tobia Musan, who, as we saw, had competed 3 days earlier in Accra. So very impressive 100 hurdles. So yeah, great. So that concludes our review of the Shanghai Keqiao Diamond League meet. Though we will, of course, mention all the best results in the top marks section. So let's continue now with key competition results around the globe in the last 2 weeks. And we're heading to the US, where US college conferences are currently taking place. Best results came from the SEC championships in Auburn, in Alabama. Again, we'll include all the top ones in the top marks section, but here I'd like to highlight the performance of Nigeria's Samuel Ogazi. On 16 May, he ran 43.95 in the 400 final, and he becomes the 6th African athlete to run sub 44. And he's the youngest one to achieve the feat. He only turned 20 on 14 May. So Fentuo, Ogazi has been impressive for 2 years already. He was an Olympic final in Paris, and his constant improvement makes him a really interesting prospect.
Indeed, and I saw that performance, and a lot of Nigerians were raving about that particular performance, and you can understand why. And I think one of the Nigerian journalists caught him in an interview and spoke to him about that performance, and he mentioned that he feels like he's capable of going even further down, and to join the 43-second club, it's really amazing. Still being a college student, I mean, the future is just, yeah, it's obviously unpredictable, but the prospect is amazing.
Yeah, definitely. Now I'll be watching him closely because, since Paris, when he was so young and he was in the fun, it's like, hey, this kid is interesting.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. And there was an excellent women's performance as well, also in the 400 hurdles, a barrier breaking one. USA's Dejanna Oakley. She became the 16th woman in history to run sub 49, as she clocked 48.92. So really, really good. And as we'll see, there were quite a few very good marks in Auburn. So it's time now to look at the best from road races. There was a very interesting mark by Ethiopia's 2023 World Champion bronze medalist, Ejgayu Taye, who has since moved to the roads. On 17 May, she won the Riga Half Marathon in 1 hour 04:22, which is the second fastest mark of the year. And then I'd like to mention the great Eliud Kipchoge, who this Sunday starts his Eliud World Tour in South Africa at the Sanlam Cape Town Marathon. That's going to be his first marathon in Africa, and is part of his project of running a marathon on every continent in the next 3 years, with the goal to inspire communities around the world. 7 marathons on 7 continents in the next 3 years. So I really love Eliud. And I hope this world tour goes very, very well. So Fentuo, amazing athlete and human being, isn't Eliud?
Oh yes, obviously, a really, really amazing human being, and sometimes that's what you get, Anna. You don't necessarily even need to be a fan or a supporter, or whatever. But when you're good, and you have people always rooting for you. And even me, I'm always rooting for him.
Yeah, if you think he won his first 2004, it was in Athens. He won the 5,000. No, not the 5,000. He was a medalist in the 5,000. He'd won the World Championships in 2013.
Yeah.
And he's still going super strong.
He's still going strong.
No, fabulous.
Yeah, amazing.
So let's move now to another aspect of road running, and that's race walks. So 8 May in Podebradi in the Czech Republic, Italy's Francesco Fortunato won the half marathon race walk in 1 hour 23:00, ahead of World Championships 20K gold medalist Caio Bonfim of Brazil. Fortunato's performance was a European record, well inside the target time of 1:23:30 set by the Continental Association for the inaugural record. And it confirms a great start of the year for the Italian, who took gold in the distance at the team championships in Brasilia in April, and in February he had set the world indoor record over 5,000 meters. So bravo, Francesco. And among the women, Peru's Kimberly Garcia Leon, who like Fortunato had triumphed in Brasilia, was victorious in 1 hour 33:44, well ahead of Italy's 20K Olympic 2021 Tokyo 21 Olympic champion, Antonella Palmisano. Garcia's mark was also a continental record. It was also the second fastest ever, just 5 seconds behind China's Jiang Yunwan's winning time in Taizang, but it was quite a bit slower than the target time of 1:30:30 set by World Athletics for the world record, the inaugural world record. So, and Palmisano also missed the target time for the European record. So that's it for the review of the action. Let's go back to the global overview of our sport and check out all the best results since the last show, starting with the men's events. We continue adding in brackets performances which are regular, which are listed on the respective website Tila Stopaya, but do not appear on World Athletics. So starting with the men, there are some very fast, windy times on the 100 meters. Unfortunately, they're not on World Athletics, so we don't have the exact timing, the exact result score, because of course it's affected by the speed of the wind behind them, but it should be at least 1,259 for Australia's Eddie Hossein Ketia. Jalil Crowell, 1,258 points for his 9.75. The Australian was at the in Lincoln in another one of the collegiate conferences, and behind him PJ Iyamu of the US, also very fast with 980. In the 200 meters, very good 19.87 by the USA's Jelani Watkins in Auburn. 400, we've mentioned Samuel Ogazi, but behind him, 44.12 for Jordan Pierre of the US, and 44.16 for Jonathan Sims, who is born in 2007. For 3,000 meters now, we've mentioned this fabulous race in Shanghai Kechao. But if you look at the top marks, 14 of them come from that race. Actually 15, because Tom Verbandert of the Netherlands, his 7:30:42 is also above our cutoff of 1,236. So great performances there by Abdullahi, by Reynold Chariot, Andreas Almgren, Timothy Cheruiyot, etc. Mexico's Eduardo Herrera, and as we said, Seth Donald of Australia, the two record holders, so very, very good performance. 110 hurdles, it was a very good time at the Seiko Golden Grand Prix in Osaka on the 10th of May by Rashid Muratake of Japan. 13:05, but also in Auburn, 13:05 for the USA's Jacob Tharp. And Jamal Britt again equaled his personal best of 13:07 in Shanghai Kechao. Jacoby Tharp had also run 13:09 in the final. Sorry, his 13:05 is in the heats. Cordell Finch in Kechao, and Kendrick Smallwood in Auburn. 300-meter hurdles, as we mentioned, very, very good performances by Alison Dos Santos and Karsten Warholm. They're worth a whopping 1,294 and 1,295 result score. So very, very good. Very far behind them, Mateus Lima of Brazil still makes the top marks. Mondo Duplantis, as we said, was alone with his 6:12, and Mattia Furlani jumped 8:48 in Kechao. Very good performance in Caguas in Puerto Rico by Jamaica's Jordan Scott in the triple jump, 17 meters 66. And in the discus, I already mentioned the 70 meters 58 win for Christian C. in Köchau. Half marathon race walk, Francesco Fortunato, that's worth 1,236 for his half marathon race walk area record. So let's check now the best women's marks of the last fortnight. Very good sprints in Auburn at the SEC Championships, 21.92 by Virgin Islands Adaja Hodge, and also with very good 22.07 for Sharika Jackson in Köchau. That's her fastest race in a few years. 400 meters flat, we've already mentioned the 48.92 for Dejana Oakley. 1500 in Köchau, very good performance, 3:55.56 for Birke Heilom, 3:55.71 for Sige Duguma, and behind them, very interesting, Australia's Abby Caldwell, 3:56.12. Also in Köchau, 5,000 meters win for Faith Kipyegon in 14:24.14. Now, what's interesting is that the three ladies behind were actually quite close. Likina Ameba, 14:24.21, Senayet Getachew, 14:24.71, and Medina Asa, 14:24.76. So quite a relatively tight race for Faith Kipyegon. Then the 3,000 meter hurdles, we saw that was really an exceptional competition. 100th of a second dividing Peroth Chemutai and Faith Cerotic. And behind them, very good to see Tunisia's Marwa Bouzayani. She was almost 7 seconds behind, but still a very good mark, which is worth 1,244 points. And Ethiopia's Kena Tufa, also very good performance, also under 9 minutes. 100 hurdles, mentioned 12:25 for Masai Russell, is equal number 10 in the all-time list, but she already has number 2. Devin Charlton was also fast, and Tobia Musan also makes the top marks. Shot put, this is the best women's performance of the fortnight. 21 meters 09 is worth 1,276 points. But it was also a good competition because behind Jessica, 20:46 for Chase Jackson and 20:42 for Canada's Sarah Mitten. Then half marathon, we mentioned the 1:04.22 in Riga half marathon by Ejegayu Taye. So there we go. So those were the top marks of the fortnight. Let's check out the 10 best performances of the year. Among the men, there were no new entries. So we remain with 2 top marks by Mondo Duplantis. Then marathon world record by Sebastian Kimaro Sawe. And behind him, of course, very close, Yomif Kejelcha. 5th is Matthew Denny with his 74.04 from Ramona. Then we have the mile performance by Cole Hawker in Winston-Salem. 74 meters 00 for Stephen Richter. Pole vault, Emmanuel Caralis, 6 meters 17. Josh Hoey's indoor 800 meter world record. And the last one on the list is Matthew Denny. Now, those marks are all worth more than 1,311 points. And it's absolutely crazy because Jacob Kiplimo's marathon performance in London is 1,309. Mondo's performance in the Shanghai Cachao is worth 1,300, and they don't make the top 10. Now, this is crazy, Fentuo. It really
Indeed,
shows that,
it really
yeah,
is. It really is.
top marks in 26 are really amazing.
They are amazing. And it's good to see that a lot of them are actually, I'm discovering there's a trend that's been established. A lot of them are happening on a lot of field events, aren't they?
Yes.
And so I love it. I absolutely love it. It means that we still got some blockbuster performances to come on the sprints, because we definitely do have a lot of expectations there as well.
Yeah, definitely. So let's check out the best women's performance of the year. We have one new entry, and of course, that's Jessica Schilder. But up at the top, Valerie Zion, formerly Allman, with her 73 meters 10 in Ramona. And then there's a lot of 10K road race marks in this list. Agnes Jebet Gettage is number 2. In the marathon, Fautien Tesfaye, those top 3 marks are all worth more than 1,300 points. So really good. 2 more marks from the 10K road race. Brenda Jepchirchir and Likina Ameba in Valencia back in January. And here we have our new entry, Jessica Schilder. That's, as we said, worth 1,276 points. Also in discus, but from Ramona, Jorinde van Klinken, hammer throw Cameron Rogers in Austin. And then we have the first women's track race, the world indoor record by Keely Hodgkinson in Liévin, that's in position number 9, and another 10K road race mark by Caroline Makandi-Gitonga in Castellón. And only then number 11 is Bridget Kosgei in the marathon, and only in 12 are the 2 fabulous ladies from the steeplechase, Chemutai and Cherotic. So the level is also very, very good. Now, Fentuo, one thing I find interesting is that both men and women's top marks of the year include results from middle distances, road races, field events, but sprinters have yet to produce exceptional results.
Yeah, and that is true. I dare even say that I feel like sprinting over the last few years is kind of, it's not really produced very high performance. I couldn't believe when I saw that Eddie Nketiah's 9.74 is the fastest time any athlete has run since Usain Bolt's 963 victory from 2012 at the Olympics. And I'm thinking, what is going on there in the main sprinting? In the 200, we've obviously seen faster times. 1930 from Noah Lyles from Eugene. We've seen in 1946 from Thibaut as well. In the women, we saw some really good performances from Elaine Thompson from Tokyo and immediately post Tokyo. But I think the last 3 years we haven't really seen a lot of sprinters doing magical stuff in the short distances, whether meters or 200 meters, maybe more. So, but to see the Elaine Thompson coming back, Sha'Carri coming back, the women seems like it's building up to be a very interesting season. And the men that we saw now, Lyles also run a 9.9 of last week, very early in the season. So it could be a year where we hit top marks in the sprinting, but up until now, there's really been something slightly missing, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. Because also Eddie's performance in the 100 is with a 5.6 tailwind. So
that's that exactly. And he's Eddie Nketiah. He's actually a New Zealander. not Australian accent. That his
Uh,
father,
his
what's
father was competing for, what was it, Ghana?
Ghana?
Yeah, exactly. But he's down on World Athletics as Australia. So
So
I'm
what
going
happened?
with,
Because okay, maybe he switched. Maybe I missed it because I interviewed him in Eugene in his first World Championships when
yeah,
he came, and he was running for New Zealand at the time. So maybe it's something that we can both check on. I'm not sure what's going on there.
yeah. But in the men's sprints, I'm waiting to see what Jordan Anthony is going to do outdoor, because I really enjoyed his performance in the World Indoors, and I think he's just a great guy. So I hope he does well.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely, absolutely.
yeah. So unfortunately, we won't have time to check the top marks for under 20s and under 18s this time, but we'll definitely catch up in the next show. So we're now reaching the end of the program. So let's take a look at the upcoming events. Australia Championships are underway in Darwin. They finish tomorrow. 21-23 May, Kenya trials for the under 20 championships. 23 May is, of course, the second meet of the Diamond League in Xiamen. Also in the race walk, Premio Cantones de A Coruña is the European 10,000 meters Cup in La Spezia, and 23-24 European Champions Club Cup in Castellón in Spain. Between 23 and 24, we have 4 World Athletics Continental Tour silver meets. Felix Sanchez Classic in Santo Domingo, LA Track Festival in the US, Tucson Elite Throws in Arizona, and in Germany, the Internationales Fingersportfest in Rehlingen. 24 is also marathons. We mentioned Cape Town, but also Lima, Ottawa, and Lanzhou in China. 3 more Continental Tour silvers between 27 and 28 May in Santa Cruz de Tenerife in the Canary Islands, JBL Jump Festival in Kosice, Slovakia, and Trondheim Games in Bergen. 29 May, Irena Shevchinska Memorial in Bydgoszcz, Continental Tour Gold. 29 to 31 is also the American Championships in Lima. And 30 to 31, the top combined events meeting in the world, the Hypo meeting in Götzis. 31 May, Diamond League continues in Rabat. It's also the Goldeness Oval silver event. It's also marathons in Launceston, Australia, Jilin, China, and Porto Alegre, Brazil. Grand Prix in race walking in Spain. 3 June, Pavo Nurmi Games in Turku, Continental Tour Gold. There's also a Philotei Women Gala in Greece. Golden Gala on the 4th of June, Diamond League meeting in Rome. 2 days later, USATF Lone Star Grand Prix Continental Tour Gold. The Diamond League continues 7 June in Stockholm, 10 June in Oslo, so quite a tight series of meetings coming up. Then 10 to 13 June, NCAA Division I Championships in Eugene. 13-14 June is the USATF LA Grand Prix Continental Tour Gold, and it's also marathons in Jakarta and in Guyana. 16 June, Ostrava Golden Spike Continental Tour Gold. 19 June, the Doha meeting, which had to be postponed because of the bombing going on in the area. 19 to 21 June, Asian Relay Championships in China, in Shaoxing. And 21 June, Fanny Blancker's Kuhn Games in Hengelo. So quite a lot, as we said, very packed Diamond League schedule in the next couple of weeks, but also lots of other interesting events. So we're now at the end of our program, and it was great having Fentuo with us on the show.
Yes, always a pleasure to be here. I just found out that Eddie Nketiah switched allegiance in December 2025. So just recently.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was very, very recent. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah,
Thank you for
always
checking.
happy to be here. Always happy to be here.
Thank you so much, Fentuo. Thank you all for watching, and see you in 2 weeks on Love Athletics to look together at the highlights, comments, and analysis of what's been happening in our sport over the past fortnight. In the meantime, we'll have a couple interviews from the European 10,000 meters Cup on Saturday. Unfortunately, Nadia Battocletti just pulled out, but Jimmy Gressier should still be there, which is going to be interesting. And then, of course, on the 4th of June, Rome Diamond League. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you again, Fentuo. Lovely to see you.
Yes,
Ciao.
always. Take care, Anna.
Thank you.
Cheers. Bye.